Looking at Lamborghini historically, they have one of the most hammered in, strongest brand identity of any sports car, actually any automotive manufacturer for that matter. And in this video, I want to show you exactly what type of key lines, 3 key lines that pretty much every single Lamborghini is built up with, except for the SUVs and the weird proportioned one that they just had to do for commercial purposes. I'm talking about the proper Lamborghinis here. We're also going to redesign what I think could be the next generation Lamborghini Huracan, and I'm gonna base that off recent concepts and then try to mold some concepts onto the Huracan face and see how that is going to turn out. But before we do that, so let's have a look at the Lamborghini lineup here. Just look at these Skittles here, red and yellow Skittles of chiseled designs in side view here. So as you can see, Lamborghini has a clear defined shape of what they want their cars to look like from a side view, and that is of course this forward leaning motion. So let's do some fun experiments here. Let's just put out this line right here. Let's sketch over the Countach right here, create a line that goes something like if we can get it right, something like that. And then we have another line that goes something like this, right? So it goes into the body and then up here and creates the greenhouse right here. So these are the 3 key lines that basically you find on each generation of the Lamborghini flagships, the V12s and also the V10s, the Gallardo for example. So let's try and see what happens here. I haven't done this before, so it's gonna be interesting, but I'm pretty sure if we copy these lines here and if we move them down, let's say over the Diablo right here, and then we can copy them again and move them down over the Murcielago right here, you can see it almost fits, but the same kind of proportions are still there. As you can see, it's not a big difference going from the original Countach onto the cars that came after it. You still have very similar key lines here, and this is what I'm talking about when I talk about super strong identity for the design and the brand of Lamborghini. If you compare this, for example, if you compare it with Ferrari, for example, Ferrari has been they've done a lot of different designs throughout the years, and they've not have nowhere near as strong brand identity as Lamborghini. So look at the Huracan down here, for example. Look at how close. I haven't changed the lines, I've just copy pasted them on top of the entire lineup here. You can see that the same kind of lines follow the same cars. The same lines reoccurs in every single model here throughout history, even from the 60s to today, which is over 50 years ago, which is pretty impressive for Lamborghini. So this is something that's not gonna change anytime soon from Lamborghini. It doesn't matter if you go into EVs or whatever, they're still gonna have their DNA intact, and that's what I love about Lamborghini. So what I wanna do in this video here is, here we have the Sian, a recent concept from Lamborghini. They released it in a roadster version and a regular coupe version. It doesn't really matter for what we're gonna do here in this video, but what I want to do is take this graphics that we have right here. So these are almost 100% going to be visible on the next generation Huracan and the Aventador. So that's what I want to do. I want to take that type of graphics, slap them on to this package down here. I think the Huracan is a good looking car. It's a good looking Lamborghini. It looks angry enough, but it's I don't know if it's almost a little too little Lamborghini feeling in the Huracan. It looks a little too dialed down. So I hope at least the next generation is going to be a little wilder than this and be a little more angrier like we have in the Sian right here. So you can see that the main headlight here is actually this piece right here, and this is just a daytime running light. I'm not sure if the indicator is integrated in that part as well. That would be cool to have a blinking Y like that when you're about to turn. So something like this is definitely going to happen in the next generation Huracan, and I also think it's going to happen in the next generation Aventador. And this is where it becomes really interesting. I'm really interested to see, if we look at this face right here, it looks pretty different from the Aventador. You still have the same kind of DNA, but now when we have such a strong little detail here, which is this Y shape in the front end, they still have to separate the next generation Huracan from the next generation Aventador, and I'm really interested in seeing how they will implement this element right here, this Y, but still separating the two, the big brother, the V12 from the V10. I hope that's what we're gonna have in the next generations as well, and how they're going to separate them graphically while still implementing this Y shape somehow in both of them. Maybe the Aventador is gonna have this Y shape be part of the actual headlight, something like this. I'm not sure, but it's gonna be interesting to see, since they are different different if we look at them today. They're pretty different. So this is one piece that I want to add to this, and that means that this air intake here needs to be adjusted a little bit. I'm not sure how. Something like this, maybe stretch it out a little bit further out this way, have it follow this line right here. You can see these two lines right here. If we look at the Cyan, that's an air intake right here. So I might add an intake similar to this. I'm not really a huge fan of that because it looks a little body kitty. It looks a little cheap. I don't know if cheap is the right word, but less sophisticated than the rest of the panels and the intakes on the rest of the car. This looks too simple to be right there, but I might add that on here. I'm not sure when the next Huracan is gonna go on sale. I think it is 2023, but I'm not 100% sure. That's what I have in the back of my mind, that number 2023. And when it goes on sale, as I said, I'm pretty confident that we'll have the Y-shape front daytime running lights and just a light bulb within that little graphic element to have the headlight itself. Similar to, it's kind of a version of the things that we've been talking about here on the channel when you have the headlights in the bumper, like Kia, Hyundai, and a bunch of different manufacturers are doing right now. This is sort of the same kind of philosophy, I would say. You still have the headlights, the main headlights, sitting above the daytime running lights, and the daytime running lights, the positioning of them seems to be where the headlight is supposed to be historically. Not sure if that made sense, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And I think that is going to transition into the next generation Huracan and the Aventador as well. I don't know how many versions of the Aventador that they've done now, special versions, the SVJ, the SC20, and all of these, the SV. So it's time now to maybe, and even the new Countach is based on the Aventador. So it's time to come up with a new model, and of course they're working on it. And I really look forward to seeing, as I said, the differences that are going to have between the Huracan, the next generation Huracan, and the next generation Aventador. How they're going to separate the big brother and make that a little bit, maybe a little bit more intimidating than the little brother, the Huracan, like we have in today's generations as well. So talking about this redesign here, this was a pretty straightforward redesign. I have a little change that I'm going to do at the very end of this video. You know the drill by now. I usually do these designs. It takes maybe an hour or so to sketch these up, and then I take a break, I go downstairs, do something completely different, and I come back and look at it, and instantly I can see what was I thinking. Sometimes I think it looks good, but in this case I didn't like the little nose that dips in the middle into the grille. I want to have a straight line from the daytime running lights going into the body panel and not have a dip down there into the nose. So that's one little detail that I'm going to change, that I think I did at the very last minute of this redesign, so you got to stick around for that. And also, if you look at the side mirrors, for example, we can update details like that. So we can put some indicators right there, similar maybe design to what they had on the Cyan, but I'm just going to sketch that out here and have it be a very slim indicator. I think that would look really good on specifically these chisel type of side mirrors that we have here, and also change a little bit on the side, because if you look at the side intake on the Huracan, it's a really clean surface. You have the side intake at the lower bottom, and then you have the one up in the C-pillar. I kind of want to bring back that old school feeling of, for example, the Gallardo air intake, where you have a big slot in the center of the side, and I kind of like that approach. So maybe have something like that for the next generation as well. I just think it would be cool to bring back some of the old school design elements and features of mid-engine cars and put that in combination with this super futuristic graphics. That would be really interesting to see. And as you can see, this is mostly a this is mostly a front view here, and here is Eugene just coming to want to tell me something. He always comes down running from downstairs. I'm never prepared for it, and then he just, of course, as he did right now, he just jumps up and then just runs away again, just to kind of let me know that he's still here, I guess. So for the redesign here, we're pretty much done here. Just keep it very simple, take a lot of inspiration from the Cyan, and I think if we have a new Huracan like this, it kind of mixes the Cyan, but I think this approach to the front graphics when we have the headlights sticking up far up the front, the side fenders like this and following the curvature, that kind of brings me back to the Gallardo and the Gallardo's front face when you have the headlights doing a similar movement up the front fenders here on the sides. And I think it actually suits the Lamborghini DNA in general to have something like this, and of course bringing back some more of that Gallardo feel by adding this side intake that is clearly visible in the middle of the side. But who knows, in the end this is just my idea or rendering of what the next Huracan could look like, and I'm really excited, as I said, to see both the new Huracan and the new Aventador, hopefully within a couple of years.